Welcome to your tropical update. A new tropical depression is spinning off Cuba. It's prompted tropical storm watches in the Florida Keys. Here's the latest information on our tropical depression, and that is as of 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The coordinates are 17.8 north, 83.0 west. That's just in case you're plodding along with us, and I know a lot of you are. And that centers at 150 miles southwest of Grand Cayman Island. The winds are at 30 miles per hour. Its movement is north at 12 miles per hour, and the estimated pressure is at 1,009 millibars. So that is the latest information on the depression. Of course, a Hurricane Hunter is moving in right now, and will be bringing us more information as it becomes available. We'll pass that along to you. We do have those tropical storm watches in effect from Key West, Florida to Golden Beach, Florida, and the tropical storm warnings in the red include a big portion of western and central Cuba, the Isle of Youth, the Cayman Island region, and so those are the tropical storm warnings in effect. So this tropical depression could actually become a tropical storm. The forecast calls for it to continue to go on this northerly track and move across western Cuba, could skirt just past southern Florida in the next 12 to 24 hours, actually 24 to 36 hours. Let's make it that. We'll show you that swath in just a moment. Here's the way it appears on the satellite imagery, and some convection starting to form and wrap around that center of circulation. So that is showing us that we do see some signs of possible further development here. If in fact it does become a tropical storm, I believe the name would be Marco, the M name. And so that's pretty far into the names for this season. Taking a look at the other satellite vantage point, like I said, some convection starting to wrap around that center of circulation as it continues its northerly track. Now the winds are still not too bad for you folks in Cuba or even into the Cayman Islands, where they're running about 10 to 12, 14 mile per hour wind gusts at times. Now here's that swath. We're expecting the potential for it to continue to move in this direction towards the north and maybe recurve towards the northeast as we get into Wednesday morning. So that would take it right into the Bahamas, basically. Could skirt the coastline of South Florida, and of course the Keys may be impacted with some heavier rainfall and maybe some squally weather and perhaps some strong gusty winds. But that's the big deal across the Caribbean right now. The Gulf of Mexico is fairly quiet, and the rest of the Atlantic is fairly quiet too. As we head a little farther out, here's the coast of Africa. Not a whole lot happening. We do have a tropical wave that has moved on out and is holding together, but we'll certainly watch it and monitor the situation for it. The Eastern Pacific looking fairly quiet at this point. Well, that's what's happening with the tropics. Now with a look at Storm Watch, here's Rich.
Want to watch the worst storms, experience the worst weather, and learn how to survive it? Watch Storm Week tonight on the Weather Channel at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, also 9 o'clock Pacific. And get a sneak preview of Storm Week video. Go now to weather.com/stormweek. All right, let's see what's happening today out there. It's really sort of a quiet day, but things will be changing. We have that tropical system south of Cuba, which is forecast to become a tropical storm, and either late Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, or Wednesday morning, Wednesday during the day, it should be passing to the east of South Florida, maybe over the northern Bahamas. That's when you'll find some of the winds that will be a little bit gusty at times. Otherwise, a cloudy day across the south. We also have a windy day with the cold front farther north. Some of the gusts last hour over 50 miles an hour back over at Pier. So we have a very windy day for you. Let's check the radar. Some rain in Texas, rain offshore of the Carolinas, rain showers scattered about Florida, and occasional snowflake into Minnesota, mixing with rain, and now tapering down. Snow, rain mixed. Back over to Texas, you can see the scattered showers. Nothing severe, just a little bit of rain here and there. Temperatures around the nation certainly have dropped off. Widespread 50s into Florida. We're looking at 80s. And much of the northwest, we have 40s. Likewise, the northeast, a little bit of a cool day for you. Coming up next here at the Weather Channel, Jeff is here with Lisa. They'll have a look at the latest current conditions and your national forecast. Stay tuned.
This ordinary-looking bed is the key to a restful night's sleep. Even though it may look like an ordinary mattress, it's more comfortable than you can ever imagine. Introducing the Nautilus Sleep System. Nautilus sleep systems are so comfortable because you actually sleep on air. Nautilus uses a unique interlocking air chamber design to give you all the comfort and support you need for a great night's sleep. In contrast, regular metal coil spring mattresses can cause you to be uncomfortable because they only offer one level of support. An uncomfortable sleeping surface causes pressure points that can make you toss and turn all night. Nautilus created this patent-pending air chamber design that absorbs and distributes your weight. It relieves pressure points to help you sleep better and longer. Individual remote controls allow you to increase or decrease the firmness on your side of the bed, so you can have that feather soft feel and your spouse can have the extra firm support he or she has always needed. Nautilus added a NASA-designed foam layer. Research shows that it can reduce pressure and provide a more restful sleep. The Nautilus sleep system comes with 2 dry clean friendly pillow tops, so you can always sleep on a clean, comfortable mattress. You need to call right now to find out more about this revolutionary new way of sleeping and receive this video.
Vouchers are issued. We'll have complete details on this in moments. Hello, welcome to the Tropical Update for this hour. I'm Paul Emick. For more on the situation in the tropics, let's now go to our hurricane expert, Dr. Steve Lyons. Steve?
Well, thanks, Paul. And we've got a lot of shower action in the Gulf of Mexico and off the east coast of the United States and in the northwest Caribbean, our tropical depression. Let's have a look on the satellite imagery, and I'll show you some of these features. First of all, this low-pressure system just north of Honduras is our tropical depression 14. A trough extends to the north of that up into the northern Bahamas, and a heavy batch of showers just to the east of that trough. And a developing low-pressure system in the Gulf of Mexico is going to merge with this trough and move up the eastern seaboard over the next several days. So in the meantime, a lot of rain action going on. Let's look at that tropical depression in a little more detail. First of all, the good news is the low-pressure center is just north of the northern tip of Honduras and about in the middle of Belize, which is right over in this area. So the low-pressure center is well removed from the deep thunderstorms, and the reason for that is we have some fairly brisk upper-level southwesterly winds that are shearing the system. That's keeping all the shower action off to the east of the low-pressure area. We expect that to remain that way over the next 12 to 24 hours. Now, the system could develop into a storm. It's only 5 miles per hour shy of that, but the good news is we expect the thing to remain basically asymmetric relative to the low center as it moves off to the north, and most of the heavy rain and the more intense winds will remain on the east side of the circulation. As of 5 p.m., the winds were 35 miles per hour. The system was moving to the north at 3, and that's a gift moving north. It's been meandering around there, a little bit to the west for a while. So we're not seeing any rapid movement to it, but we do expect it to eventually take a move to the north, and that's why we have tropical storm warnings up for portions of the Cayman Islands, Isle of Youth, and Cuba, and then a tropical storm watch up for the Florida Keys up to Golden Beach, Florida. Now, if we look at the upper level features here, let me put the low pressure center associated with our depression back on the map right here. You can see the area of interest here. This upper level trough is going to come down and swoop it up and bring it back up over, follow basically this line of showers up toward the northeast and then off into the Atlantic seaboard and out into the open Atlantic. And when it does this, it's going to become extratropical. But in the meantime, we do expect it to reach tropical storm strength. Those tropical storm winds will probably remain in the thunderstorms and probably remain on the east side. We'll have to wait and see whether or not they wrap around to the west side. But that would be good news for Florida if that does happen. In the meantime, we'll keep an eye on that one. We don't expect it to become a hurricane at this time. Now, in the Gulf of Mexico, the low pressure that's forming in the northern Gulf of Mexico has a lot of shower action with it. You can see those showers, and those showers are dangerous for one primary reason for the mariner, and that's lightning. And you can see all the lightning moving off into the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. We'll monitor that as it moves up the eastern seaboard. The remainder of the Atlantic is relatively quiet tonight, as is the eastern Pacific. So let's get back to Paul in the studio.
All right, thanks a lot, Dr. Steve. Across the southeast, where Steve talked about all the heavy rainfall, the big lightning and storms still going on. That's a concern to our mariners, but over the next few days, as it ekes on to the north and east, it could become a larger problem, too, even along the coast. Might really kick up the waves quite a bit the next few days. A few showers in South Florida around Fort Myers and Naples. Central Florida, we're quiet now in Orlando. That's just for now. Expect more rainfall to kick in. Wetter toward Tampa, throughout North Florida, even toward Pensacola. A few spots are dealing with rainfall now and a few showers throughout the low country. Now, some rain in South Carolina. North Carolina, not much. That, too, will change. Expect to see the concern here from some flooding with the flood watches in effect. Some areas there, basically, if you live in a flood-prone area, keep your eye toward rising water because you may be in a situation to see a little wetter weather on the way. Northeast quiet tonight. Western U.S. very, very quiet. Still quite stormy across the southern U.S. More details on this with Weather Center next. Stay tuned.
Can your nails do this and not break? They can with Nail Power Gel. It makes natural nails hard as wraps to prevent nail breakage. Nail Power Gel.
It's not just about the things you own or what you've done, but about who you are and what you're striving for. It respects your time and your priorities. It understands what's important to you.
From the Emmy Award-winning series Biography, when they were good, they were very good.
I'd like to be an ambassador for this country.
But when they were bad, they were better.
Kiss me. Can't hear.
James Dean.
Jimmy was bisexual.
Marilyn Monroe.
She had nothing on but the radio.
John Kennedy Jr.
Nobody had sold more copies of that issue.
And Diana.
I can't think of somebody who was a friend, who wasn't frozen out.
The Good Die Young Week on Biography. Premieres tonight at 8 p.m. on A&E.
What can handlebars teach us about financial relationships?
What? Easy to buy, easy to own, easy as dough.
My husband called about 4 in the morning, and it's hard to describe that. In many ways, I felt like, in some ways, I felt like we were saying goodbye. I mean, it was that serious.
Dan Goldenberg is a research meteorologist at the National Hurricane Center Research Division in Miami, Florida. He studies hurricanes and is used to flying through them. But none of that could prepare him for what happened to him and his family during Hurricane Andrew. It all started a few hours before landfall with the birth of his 4th child, daughter Pearl.
I really decided Barbara was okay in the hospital. The hospital was a very strong structure. I went home to be with the children.
Benjamin, Joseph, Aaron.
I remember getting inside and thinking, gee, it's nice to be prepared, nice to be safe. Vividly remember that feeling.
Hi, Daniel, say hi. It's the beginnings of Andrew. This is just one little squall. We have much more to go. So anyway, this is just 8 o'clock at night.
6 hours later, Stan realized he was no longer just going to watch the storm.
You can see it's just about over us.
He was going to be part of it.
3:45 in the morning, Miami time. You can see the radar picture. This is the most intense part of the hurricane right here. And we are located about right here. We will probably get the eye pass right over us.
We just hunkered down because it was getting worse and worse and worse.
The power is out, so I don't know if you can see anything, and we can hear things start to fly around up there. I'm sure we're approaching hurricane force winds. Oh, it's coming. Okay.
And when the eye wall hit, it was like someone just took a big gearbox and just revved it right up.
In the hallway of the Goldenberg house, winds outside, I think, are at least 100, 110 miles an hour or more. We lost the plywood on the front window.
And when the plywood ripped off the front window, we knew that the front picture window might go. And sure enough, at a certain point, it just exploded. And we had a hurricane just ripping through the house.
They tried to move into the garage, but it was gone. They huddled together against the kitchen wall. That's when Stan decided that survival was more important than shooting video.
I was really scared. I mean, I kept on telling my dad, hold on to me, Dad, hold on to me. It was just really terrifying. I was constantly thinking of my 3 sons at home with my husband.
It kept getting worse and worse. And then at a certain point, my brother-in-law said, the roof is down. We found out later that the entire roof had ripped off, carrying the concrete tie-beam with it in one piece. Flew off and smashed into a neighbor's house.
They escaped and went to the only safe place left, their car.
As we were praying, all of a sudden, bang, bang, bang on the top of the car, and the neighbor had risked their life, come across the street, and saw the devastated house, saw the light on in the car, and came and asked if we wanted to take refuge in their house.
Where they finished out the hurricane.
And as you can see, we have no house.
The ordeal has given Stan a new perspective on his work.
As we fly out in other storms, we keep in mind what happened to us in Hurricane Andrew, and we have much more compassion, much more concern for other people and what they might be going through, even in a storm substantially weaker than Andrew.
Different people react to the experience of being in a hurricane in different ways. Some can't wait for the next storm. Others wait for their next assignment. Rescuers wait for the distress call they know will come. But most people hope they never have to go through a hurricane again.
We were extremely terrified. And I'm a man of real faith, and in the midst of it, it was terrifying. We thought it was very likely we were going to die.
The wind and the sound of it, and hearing things crash outside that you can't, you don't know what it is. But just the sound of the wind, more than anything else. I don't want to ever hear that again. I hope I never hear that again.
Tomorrow, Storm Week continues with tornado.
It is definitely on the ground. This thing is big.
God, it's all the way through. Watch Storm Week, 5 nights of the world's worst weather. Continuing tomorrow at 9 Eastern. Only on the Weather Channel. You'll watch, you won't forget.
Honey, you remember when we bought this house, you said we'd remodel the kitchen?
Vaguely. See, the problem is I just don't have the time.
We can take care of the installation for you.
Can?
Countertops and cabinets. What about tile floor?
Well, sure. Floors, garage doors, even a roof if you like.
Guaranteed?
Absolutely.
I could have done this. I could have.